Hello and welcome back to my craft room. I've finished the second page of my journal of Stitchery inspired by Roxy's journal of Stitchery. I will leave a link to Roxy's creations below. Sarah and Rachel's work and their mum's work are just so inspiring, and I love watching their videos as well. They're really sort of chatty and friendly and easygoing. Anyway, so I have finished I'm trying to catch up because I started so late, but I'm hoping I can still catch up in time for their April reveal. So if I can do one more page in the next 3 or 4 days, I'll be all caught up. I won't be far behind anyway, and it really doesn't matter. It's fine. So let's have a look, show you what I've done. So this is the little book that I'm going to be using as my covers. Obviously I will have to take it apart and make a new spine. Here's the one I've been doing this month. So this was actually the February page, the second page, and I think it was neutral background and fantastic flower, fabulous flower, something like that. Anyway, I made it plural flowers, all different neutral colour pieces for the background. So I included some whites and greys, kind of buff colour. Really enjoyed that. And I had a little Suffolk puff I'd made for another project, so I incorporated that one and stitched into it as well. This bit of ribbon I've had knocking around for ages. It was tied into a bow. I don't know what it came off, but I've had that knocking around for ages. It looks just perfect there. The most exciting part for me though was these little flowers. So how close can I get? Because this was using silk ribbon, very narrow silk ribbon, and I just did colonial knots with the silk ribbon to make these flowers. And I love how those turned out. It's the first time I've ever done it. Yeah, really enjoyed it. I'll definitely be doing that again. Now, silk ribbons, well, you buy it by the metre, so it's not the cheapest, but it's not that expensive either, and you know, a little goes quite a long way. So I used about 2 meters of ribbon there to do those. Yeah, and then some other, I've done, there's a bit of fly stitch in there and some stem stitch and a little bit of couching and a lazy daisy that I've then couched over as well. Yeah, so that's it. So so these are my stitch sampler pages. Wrong way up. They're my stitch sampler pages, and then these two will end up facing each other. That'll be quite fortuitous because they kind of lead into each other quite well. That one's turned out smaller, but it won't matter because by the time I've stitched it onto the base pages it'll be fine. Yeah, and then the next prompt I believe is to use, so the background was to use reused fabric, reclaimed fabric of some kind, so that'll be easy. I've got lots of that, and then the kind of design element was beautiful butterfly. So this one was vintage lace and bouncing bunny. This one was neutral background and fantastic flowers or fabulous flowers or something. And then the third one for March was reclaimed fabric and a beautiful butterfly. And then I'll be all caught up and waiting to see what April brings. I don't know if I said last time, but I've decided that the way I will probably put mine together is to create pages with, I'll use some more of this fabric or perhaps some of these sort of American muslin that I've got as the base, and I'll make signatures, which these will be stitched onto, and then I'll stitch the whole lot together. I'll use Coptic binding, I think, and probably cut along the spine. And what I want to try and do is reuse some of these pages. I particularly love this one. I took all of my colours from the colours of the illustration, and obviously they've used the same colours throughout the book, so I would really like to incorporate this one somehow into my finished journal. And I think perhaps this one as well, because I think I could actually stitch into this, mount it onto another piece of fabric and then actually stitch into it. That would be fun. This one so brings back memories. I can remember my son Tom, when he was a real live wire when he was a kid. He didn't sit still much. I think these days he would have been diagnosed with ADHD fairly early on. We'd never named for it in those days. He's been diagnosed as an adult actually. Caused him a lot of problems, but anyway, he was just such a little live wire, didn't sit still much, but one of the things that he really enjoyed at school, and got really obsessed with, was stitching into this kind of, I've forgotten what they call this, binker, that's right, binker canvas, which is often used when children are learning to sew, and he just did so many of these. I've still got some of them, brought them home to me, all kinds. He started off just doing stitches like this, then he did the little pictures they had printed on, and then he started making up his own based on computer games and stuff. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, so that takes me back. So yes, I think I'd like to incorporate a bit of that as well. But yeah, so that's it for now. I'm really enjoying this project, and can't wait to get started on a beautiful butterfly. I think I might be doing plural butterflies. I think I might use some little bits of tiny scraps of print that I've got and have a little flock of butterflies. I quite like the way that at the moment, completely coincidentally, this is kind of running on, and I can see the butterflies running on as well. So it may be that I changed my mind about doing the Coptic binding and end up doing like concertina, which I think either Sarah or Rachel were going to do it that way. So I will wait until I've done all the pages and then decide how I'm going to bind it. I think that's the thing. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me. It's Mother's Day here in the UK, so I'm going to stop now, go and take a bit of sewing downstairs, and hopefully my son will arrive soon. We're going to have a nice dinner later, which is all prepared, so I'm just going to relax and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a lovely day wherever you are, and I will see you again really soon. Bye.